Hey you guys, assalamu alaikum to the Muslims. So today I will be talking about navigating motherhood as a special needs mom and just my journey and a little bit of background so you guys can get some information about me and my life as a mom. So when I had my first baby at 19, y'all, it was a whirlwind of emotions. Not so much that I wasn't prepared because I always felt like I knew I was going to be a mom for sure. I didn't know how many kids I was going to have, but I knew that I was going to be a mom. I didn't think it was going to be that early because I just had my first baby after graduating high school. I got pregnant, so I was still 18, but I didn't have my son until I turned 19. Now, when you have a baby, you know that things are going to be hard, right? Like, you know, you're not going to get any sleep really. You're going to have postpartum. And at that time, I didn't know nothing about postpartum depression. There's so many other things that I feel like you're not told. And especially, you are not told how to navigate life if you have a child that has special needs. You're so happy in the beginning when you hear the doctor tell you that everything's fine, everything's healthy, you have a healthy baby, you have a healthy pregnancy. But what happens if you have a healthy pregnancy, you have a healthy baby, but sometime later down the road, shortly, you find out that your child is autistic? There's so many different things, but in this case, I'm going to stick to talking about autism because that's what two of my kids have. So let's fast forward a little bit into like the milestones of children and development. So some of the things that my son wasn't doing was he would kind of babble a lot. He wasn't really saying too many words. He was saying mom, he was saying dad, but he just wasn't like making too much of sentences, putting those words together. He always was super clumsy. He still is super clumsy to this day. He used to fall on his head and he used to have a big knot right in the center of his head all the time. And I would think that I was going to get in so much trouble because that boy would not stop falling on his head. Some other things, he started walking a little after one. It wasn't abnormal because, you know, kids walk at their different paces. Potty training took forever, but that was later down the line after I knew that he had autism. Those were a few of the signs that I noticed. There were some more, but I can't really remember. And I know it probably feels and sounds so horrible, but I really can't remember. Like, life has been a blur, honestly, since I've had children. And it's a good and bad thing, honestly. At the time I was pregnant with my son, autism, he was born in 2016. Autism was definitely a thing, but it wasn't something that was like widely talked about. We didn't know too many things about it. I think it was his grandmom that actually told me and his father that we should, you know, get him checked out, make sure, you know, things are okay. We went to his pediatrician and she suggested that maybe we go get him tested, you know, just see what could possibly be wrong. So we reached out to the Center for Autism in Philadelphia, an evaluation, and sure enough, they were like, yeah, I'm trying to remember. We got him an evaluation. They took him in a room where they did some like little sensory toy things and like checked how he was responding, if he didn't respond, if he knew his colors, numbers, shapes, things like that. And he was having some trouble. Later down the line, we realized he does have an intellectual disability as well. But prior to that, it was just strictly autism. They did some tests with him. They tried to see, you know, where he was at developmentally. And we got the diagnosis that he had autism. I can't remember if I cried or not. But I don't believe that I cried only because I knew that something was wrong with him. Once we got the diagnosis, we went to what's called Elwyn. Elwyn is a multi-state nonprofit organization. They provide services for children and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities and behavioral health challenges. What they did was they kind of looked over some of the things that they did in the autism evaluation and kind of like made his IEP. If you don't know what IEP is, I'm gonna give y'all the correct definition. IEP stands for Individualized Education Program, and it is a written plan that outlines a student's specialized instruction and support services. which is a big help if you use it right. And what I mean by that is that the parent has to be involved. The parent has to be involved constantly, seeing if things are working for your child, because they will just put anything honestly on there. And if you don't really look over it and you don't see any changes, but you just ignore it, then it'll just stay the same and it won't be beneficial to your child. So I do recommend that parents work with the IEP people and revise and, go back and see if your child may need more or less of something in the IEP. IEPs must be reviewed every year to keep track of the child's educational progress. My daughter was a different story. My daughter was walking at 9 months. She was crawling very early. The only thing that I can say that I saw a difference in my daughter was that she just wasn't talking. Like, she really never, the noises that she made were just noise. It wasn't words. And I was like, oh, like I'm kind of seeing some of those same things in my daughter that I seen in my son, even though she was a little bit more advanced. So my son, like I said, he is autistic, but he also has an intellectual disability. My daughter is brilliant. Not to say my son isn't brilliant. My son is smart in his own ways. My daughter, she's hyperlexia. So I want to actually give you the real definition of these things, so I'm not just saying stuff. So hyperlexia is a learning difference that causes children to read at a level that's advanced for their age and often before they can speak. That girl would read books. I never really taught her how to read. Like, I would read books to her, but honestly, it wasn't that often. There was so much going on in my life, and I don't say that in a way to just be like, ugh, but we know as parents and as people, we just go through so many things in life. And at that time, it was such a dark moment for me. I was battling depression, battling so many other things. But nevertheless, my daughter, she would always pick up books. She would just read words randomly. And now my daughter is 4 years old and she's reading on a 4th, 5th grade level. Like, she can read words that are like crazy. And I'm just like, wow, mashallah, like that is amazing. I just think that the brain is so special and unique, and it's just crazy that that's how the brain works. Like, it can be so many different things that's slightly off but make you super smart, slightly off that can make you a vegetable. Like, it's crazy how the brain works. I'm truly intrigued by autism. I'm truly intrigued by how the brain works. Those are all things that are like a phenomenon to me. But not to get off track, honestly, motherhood has been very eye-opening to me. And what's crazy is that I always felt as a child, and I don't know why, call me weird, put it on myself, whatever, I've always felt like I would have children with special needs. And I don't know why, but it was this huge thing that had just always stuck around with me. And I really, to this day, I don't know why. I'm not going to lie, when I was younger and a kid, as a kid, when you see somebody with disabilities, you're like always staring and like trying to figure out what's wrong. And I don't know if that's why, because I was definitely one of them kids and I used to get popped in my mouth for staring or plucked in my forehead. And I just always felt like, dang, like I feel like I'm going to have special needs kids. I don't know why. And lo and behold, Allah has blessed me with 2 special needs kids who mean the absolute world to me. All my kids mean the absolute world to me, but it has been a challenge nevertheless. And I say all this to say, we are never truly prepared, nor can we ever really be prepared on how life is going to be dealt to us. I thank Allah for blessing me with my children. I thank Allah for the route that He has given me. I don't want to cry. I do get super emotional when I talk about this, because looking back at my life, I truly don't know. Hold on here. I'm a crybaby. I truly don't know if I'd be where I'm at today if it wasn't for those two kids. Like, all my kids, again, are special. I have 3 kids. But those two right there, I don't know if my life would be how it is right now. The good and the bad. Like I said, I was a young mom. No one taught me how to deal with a child with special needs. I honestly did so much research. I looked things up, and that's how I was able to find out what I needed to find out, the best things, the best therapies for my child that I could do. I didn't have a lot of money. Um, Welfare insurance helped a lot. I'm not gonna lie. And it was just able to get my son and my daughter both the help that they needed as far as therapy. The Center for Autism for both my son and my daughter have been a tremendous help. My son has made so much progress. He still has some things that he's struggling with, but overall, the Center for Autism has done so much for my life. It's also been able to give me a break, and that's what us mothers need. Like, not gonna lie, as a special needs mom, we don't get a lot of time to ourselves, and not to take anything away from the father, but as a mother, we are already the primary caregiver. So a lot of the stuff falls on us mothers. And I just want you to know, if you're watching this, let me take a deep breath. Ever give up. Even if you feel like you're alone, there is somebody out there that is dealing with the same thing. And if you ever need a place to come and vent, please feel free to message me on Instagram. I reply to all my messages. I try to reply to all my messages. You always have a place to talk to somebody who understands. I've been an autism mom for now, almost 9 years, mashallah, and I know a lot from experience. There is a lot that I don't know, so if I don't know, I will tell you I don't know, but we can research together and figure things together, because this is a lifelong journey. This is a lifelong process. Sorry if my voice is cracking up. I just get very emotional with just watching the progress that my children has made. Like, I truly don't know if it wasn't for therapy and other outside people, because I didn't have a lot of family support. I don't feel like I've had a lot of family support as far as getting some of that respite care and just getting a break. Like, it's tough. It's tough, and I feel like I wear it so well. And that might be the reason why people just don't feel like they have to help me, which is understandable. If you don't ask for help, you will never get help, which is something that I've learned now. Like, I need help. This is hard, okay? It's hard to do it alone. It's hard to even do it even if you have your spouse. Like, it takes a lot when you mentally, emotionally, physically. There's been some days where I just laid in bed, like, I can't even get up and out this bed because I just can't take the noise. I can't take the stimming. I can't take the frustration on trying to teach a child and this just not getting through to them. These are things that I feel like is not talked about enough, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating as hell. But like I said, alhamdulillah for Allah's mercy and Allah's blessings that He's bestowed upon me and my family. My children are doing amazing. So yes, it's lonely when you're in uncharted waters. Nobody in my family had been through this, and I didn't really know anybody that could relate, because at that time I wasn't like into the mom groups and all that stuff on Facebook. Later down the line, I kind of found that stuff. The advice you get is kind of like outdated, and just autism spectrum is so vast and so wide that no two autistic children are alike. Like, it's that vast. They just don't prepare you on how isolating this journey can be. I had to be my child's advocate. I had to be my child's voice. Every time I felt like giving up, I had to remind myself that my child needed me to show up. No matter how tired, no matter how frustrated, no matter how scared I was, my child needed me. Slowly but surely, I started feeling more stronger and confident in my abilities to help my child. And it's been stuck since then. This journey has taught me so much about compassion, patience, understanding. I've learned to celebrate the small wins, even when they don't feel so big. I've learned that progress doesn't always look like what you expect, but it's still progress. And most important, I've learned to embrace this path, not as a burden, as a unique kind of blessing. My children truly showed me the real definition of unconditional love and just more strength and love than I ever thought possible, honestly. If you're a mom out there feeling lost, let me tell you, you are not alone. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to cry, scream, kick, yell, the whole nine, okay? All I can say is just don't give up. Just don't give up. You are doing better than you think you are, and your child needs you. Keep showing up even on the hard days. So that's my story. What part of it? I'm still learning, still growing, and still navigating these uncharted waters. But I'm here and I'm doing it. And if I can, you can too. If this resonated with you, leave me a comment down below or share your own story. Let's build this community together, one story at a time. Don't forget to like, comment, and share the story if you know somebody that needs to hear this. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your little ones. Bye.